Hi everyone, welcome to the review retro for Sprint 56 and the forecast for Sprint 57 of TinaCMS, TinaCloud projects. The sprint goal was to continue the upgrade of plate from version 36 to latest. Isaac, could you please speak to the item?
So we've made progress on this, and we're kind of at the stage where it's a lot of quality control. So we're looking at the upgraded version of the editor versus the one in the website demo or a old CMS version's editor, and trying to compare them and see any little differences and then make fixes corresponding to that. There's quite a few of these which look a bit different or feel a bit buggy. So we're still making progress on that slowly. Ben also mentioned that attention hasn't been fully focused on this. There's been other distractions and priorities that have come up, which is a shame because we'd really like to get it through.
Understood. This was a 1-week sprint. We had 156 hours build on TinaCloud by Brooke, Matt, myself, Eli, and Kelly. And we had 60 hours built on TinaCMS by Jack, Isaac, and Ben. In terms of the backlog, in addition to the work on plate, Matt, do you want to speak briefly to your console output improvements?
Yeah, so I think you've got a screenshot there. But essentially, what's happening is when you do a build based off a Dependabot branch, so Dependabot goes and updates a package, and you do a build. Previously, that was failing, so we fixed that, and we've actually improved the console output. So now it says when it's checking a branch, which branch it wants to check. And then if TinaCloud says, "Hey, we've detected it as a bot branch," then TinaCloud's default functionality is to then source the schema and content from main. So we just wanted to put in a warning in there in the console output so it was clear what was happening in case they were getting a schema mismatch issue. So we've got a couple of examples there. One with the bot branch at the top, and then at the bottom, what the if you do it like based off your main branch, what that will look like. So that includes the branch name as well.
In addition to that, we've also seen the completion of the transfer of the content index records from the main table to the new content index table. There were a total of 19,505 projects scanned for that transfer. In terms of sprint burn down and dashboard, we've got 42 effort completed with 26 remaining. Code coverage not yet logged. Production deployments, 4 deployments for TinaCloud, 1 release for TinaCMS. Version 2.7.8 released today, 27th of May. In terms of application health, Identity API HTTP 500s increased from 24 to 44. Content API HTTP 500s increased from 31 to 56, a contributing factor being that some queries taking too long, exceeding the 30-second timeout of the Content API router. In terms of accounts created, we saw a decrease from 232 to 203. Trend of organizations created over the last 30 days remains flat. Sign up to commit conversions decreased from 16.8% to 13.8%. The unique cloners over the last 2 weeks for the Tina Barebone starter repository increased from 62 to 77. Same figure for the TinaCloud starter decreased from 136 to 131. And for the self-hosted demo, we saw an increase from 36 to 38. In terms of the TinaCMS package downloads, now we did see a dramatic decrease from 31,264 to 18,891. However, this is due to a decrease in the anomalous downloads that we saw of an old version, 2.2.1. So that has dropped from approximately 14,000 to 5,000, and as you can see from the slopes on the chart, they roughly match. We expect that next week there will be an increase with the release of 2.7.8 this morning not being accounted in the figures. In terms of Epic's progress, we saw further work done on completed on the improving the database performance with the completion of the transfer. However, additional work was found, so it remains constant at 50%. In terms of experimental work, Jack.
Yes, so similar to last week, we're still continuing with the database. Well, that's, I think, some parts of it got completed this sprint, still more to go, and then also continuing with the plate upgrade.
In terms of AI tools used by the team, Matt used GitHub Copilot and Yakshaver. Brooke and Ben were both using ChatGPT. Due to most of my concentration being on defect investigation, I didn't use any tools. Eli used Cursor, Yakshaver, V0. Jack stuck to ChatGPT. Isaac, Cursor, ChatGPT. Michaela, GPT, and V0. And Kelly, what did you use? Sorry, you're on mute.
Mostly Copilot. Sweet.
Has anyone tried out Vercel's new model? It's meant to be pretty good for UIs. No one? Okay.
I heard about it, but haven't had a chance to test it out.
Michaela?
Wait, Vasel's new AI model
Yes.
different to V0?
I'm not sure if it powers V0. I just saw videos about it recently.
Yeah,
Okay,
powers
that's
V0. So if you've used the V0 like in the last couple of days, you're using the new model.
yeah, I found it's been pretty good, but just what I've been working on.
Moving on to the sprint retrospective and what went well. Brooke?
Lots of stuff done. The sprint was actually really productive. I felt like we all were able to actually work on stuff, and usually things come up that block us. We had a pretty good sprint. We were actually able to work on the things we wanted to.
Eli?
So front-end preferences, what I've been working on during the sprint feels nice, and yeah, the registration refactor that me and Brooke did feels a lot more reliable.
And Seth should be able to use that sales data moving forward because it's being pumped to segment.
Yep.
Isaac?
Yeah, Michaela's looking into the CMS tool this week, which is pretty cool. So hopefully we get some designs out of that.
And Brooke, again.
Yeah, so in TinaCMS, there were a lot of duplicated types across all packages. We started to move some of those into a single package, which has made the whole workflow much nicer, especially for people who are consuming those packages or who need to add stuff. It's made it much easier because now there's a single place to get stuff done.
Moving on to the things that didn't go so well. Ben, you know that Jack went and broke the plate migration branch.
That was about we doing some POC for the latest version of Plate. Since we upgrade them, they have another new version coming up. So the solution would be maybe the next time for any POC stuff, we could branch out from the stable branch and then have a pull request once we want to merge into the main branch.
Eli, you had some issues with your microphone. Anything further to add?
Well, yeah, just recording, done videos, microphone had some issues, but trying to sort that out.
Yeah, so that'll be your improvement for the next sprint. Jumping back to didn't go so well. Jack, the heap memory issue.
Yes, so with the release kind of last week, we added source map generation. So this just generates a bunch of files at build time, which then increased the memory used over 2 gigabytes, and that was causing some issues for people. We've disabled it in the most recent one, and we've also, so we disabled the source map generation. It's still over the 2 gigabytes of memory used in Node, so we're still continuing to look into it, but yeah, we're aware of the issue, so.
Right. And there were no further improvements that were intended for the next sprint. Moving to the Sprint 57 forecast, the sprint goal will continue to be upgrading Plate from version 36 to latest. In addition, we will hopefully see the completion of the front-end question workflow and the completion of the work on resolving the infinite loading screens. Does anyone have any further questions or comments for the meeting? Right. The summary of this meeting will be uploaded to the TinaCMS YouTube channel. Gentlemen and lady, catch you all next week.
See ya.